Good boy. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out I lived with a dog for 2 years. Here's what happened. And this is my new puppy, Gregory. He's very squirmy. He's very squirmy. What do you have to say, Greg? Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? They want to hear what you have to say. You have anything to say? No? Okay. I don't want to torture you. I don't want to torture you. I don't want to have to beat your ass. I don't want to have to beat your ass, Gregory. Oh. Okay. He's in a crate right next to me, looking at me. And I think he's starting to enjoy his crate. Like he wanted to get back in his crate. He's got a little bottle of water in there. He's got a chew bone and a Kong toy. Good boy. Yes. He's doing good. Just know he's in there while we're watching this. But I thought it would be an appropriate video to watch with my new puppy. Even though he's not going to watch it with me, he'd rather sit in his crate. That's called passive aggression. That's passive aggression. Yes. See? He's learning. He's learning human manipulation. Good Gregory. He's chewing his bone. Okay. Be sure to go to Lost in the Pond and like and subscribe. We're doing a little house training, and he's caught on really quick. Happy about that. And we're doing the crate training, and he still whimpers sometimes when I put him in there, but he's a baby. That's what babies do. Little baby. Little baby. Well, I love him very much. He's chewing his bone. Good boy. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Y'all, be sure to go to Lost in the Pond and like and subscribe. Let's check out the video.
2 years ago, from this very chair, I announced to my mom and 200,000 people that we've adopted a puppy and his name is Arthur. At that time, my regular subscribers demanded that I give them regular updates. And so I do. Once a year. Oh, by the way, if you are subscribed to this channel, thank you. If you're not, do that now.
Y'all be sure to go to Lost in the Pond and like and subscribe. And if you made it this far in the video, which is 21 seconds, let me begin like blah, blah, blah.
Although you will have to wait another year for another dog update. Last year, you may remember, I talked about his first year being alive on planet Earth. Well, since then, he's gone from a puppy to a full-fledged dog. As in, he really ought to be grown up by now, but he isn't because I'm his dad. But having said that, it is significant. The amount of difference you see from being a puppy to a dog. A year ago, you may remember, he was still ripping up cushions.
Yeah. My boy's not done that yet. I'm avoiding saying his name because he has already learned his name thanks to McCann Dog's videos on YouTube. He's not done this yet, and I'm just waiting for it. I know one day it's going to happen. I know we're going to get comfortable with the routine we've set up, and I'm going to let him roam around my apartment, and everything's going to be cool for a couple months, and then one day I'm going to come home to this. I know it's going to happen. I know it. He's asleep now, y'all. Oh, he's awake now. Now he's awake. He's staring at me. I just took a photo. Hopefully I'll remember to. Oh, now he's asleep. Okay, another photo. Anyway, back to this. This is Arthur, y'all.
Like they were his toy, even though he has a coffee table full of old toys.
Nice.
And in the meantime, let me show you how much he's grown. Shake.
A treasure chest of toys.
Full of old toys. And in the meantime, let me show you how much he's grown. Shake. What a good shake, mate. What a good shake. High five. Yeah, that's a good fella. That's a good fella. Good. Oh, look, we're dropping it all, mate. He's actually about the same size as he was in part 2. But, of course, growth can take many avenues. He's grown monetarily since this video is sponsored. Thanks, Arthur. But he's also grown emotionally and mature-wise. He's matured, is what I'm saying. In that first year, when he's a puppy, he was non-stop non-stop, on the go, all the time, trying to get his teeth on anything from the chair to his toys to the cat. And it just felt like he needed constant supervision, at least in those first 3 months. And, you know, being at that time the only person who sort of worked from home, I had to delegate a lot of the responsibilities to the cat, who was not forthcoming, nor particularly professional. So I was left on my own for much of that time, you know.
Yeah. Cats usually make great babysitters, though. Oh, his face is up against the crate door. It doesn't look very comfortable, but...
You know, and I started to think to myself, is it going to be like this forever? You know, have I just been lumped with the most excitable dog in the universe? And the answer to that is still yes, but he's less on the go all the time now. In fact, he spends a good portion of his time, as dogs should, because I've read about this, sleeping, chilling out, just laying on the sofa. And that was beautiful, especially for a YouTube sensation, because you need all the quiet you can get while filming. Now, this doesn't mean that all...
Yeah, we are crate training, as I mentioned, so we're doing like an hour and a half up and about and around and playing around and going outside and pottying and pooping. And then an hour and a half in the crate. And then an hour and a half up and running around and playing and pooping and training. And then an hour and a half in the crate. Back and forth. And it seems to be working. He's sleeping, still with his face on the crate. I'm in love, y'all. I'm in love.
All he does is sleep, otherwise that'd make for quite a grim update. Now that he's 2 and a bit years old, he has been learning new things. That's disgusting. You got to remember that he is in human years, an adolescent, I suppose, and so his brain is more developed. This is evidenced by the types of toy he is able to play with. When he was 3 months old, it was all about trying to chew the out of a squeaky pizza. And he still does that, but he also plays these games where he has to use logic. So for example, we have this game where you hide treats in random positions under these squares, and you have to slide the squares in order to find the treats. All right, Arthur, wait. The first few times that he played it, he used to just sort of randomly smash the buttons like I used to do when I played Street Fighter 2. But after a while, you could almost see the cogs turning in his head, because maybe he accidentally knocked one of the squares and he went, oh my gosh, light bulb moment, but in dog language. He realized, oh, I just moved that square. Oh, there's a treat. I move the next square. There's nothing there, but I'll move the next square. Look what's here. I'm a smart doggy. I didn't think that a dog that lived with me...
Yes. My boy's not there quite yet, but I do feed him his meals sometimes with this little ball. And I put the kibble in the ball, and then he nudges the ball and a little kibble falls out. And he eats it, and then he nudges the ball again, a little kibble falls out. You know? He's a baby. He's a baby.
Square. Look what's here. I'm a smart doggy. I didn't think that a dog that lived with me would be a gifted child. Let's face it.
You're gonna get one of those silly stickers that says my child is in the gifted program.
And put it on the back of my car.
Yeah.
No, but he is. Oh. My dog is more gifted than your dog. And I know that because he understands words. Basic words, admittedly, and he only tends to listen if you've got some dried chicken in your hand.
Laurence, you don't know my dog. How dare you?
That's it, sit. Good doggy. All right, twist. That's a good fella. Lay. What a good doggy. Basically, Arthur has been my shadow, my roommate, and my only source of exercise for the last 2 years. And in that time, I've learned a lot. Like how he somehow knows that I'm about to leave and specifically goes to the window. But also how much what he eats actually affects everything. His energy, his coat, even how he smells, which, believe me, really matters when you're sharing a mattress. That's why I switched to Sundays for Dogs. It's real, human-grade ingredients, air-dried, like beef jerky, so it stays fresh without needing a fridge. But the real test is what Arthur thinks about it. Well, he ate the entire thing straight away, which is unusual for him, so I think this food is a winner. And honestly, I love it too. Not that I've eaten it yet. But no messy prep, no artificial preservatives, just scoop, serve, and feel like a responsible dog parent. So if you want to try it for your dog, get 50% off your first order at sundaysfordogs.com/lostinthepond, or use my code LOSTINTHEPOND at checkout, because they deserve the best, even if they do steal your spot on the bed. But sometimes I don't...
Oh, you know why they steal a spot on your bed? I've heard that it's because they love your smell, they want to be enveloped in it, and they want that moment when you come to them and move them. They want interaction. Still with the face on the grate. Still, he's breathing though. Okay.
I don't even have to tell him. There are certain habits that he picked up on day 1 of living with us that I imagine he'll probably do for the rest of his life. For instance, do you remember in part 2 when I said this? In a moment, I'll be taking out the trash, and when I do, Arthur will follow me to the garage, watch me go in, and then go to the gate to watch me come out. How do I know this? Because he's done that every single time since day 1. I think it might be a tradition of these videos for me to give you an update on whether he's still coming to the trash cans with me or not. Are you coming? Or are you just going to watch? What on earth, mate? I swear, he usually comes with me and has done every day for the past 2 years. And now the camera's on him. He doesn't know what to do. We'll go in here. There we go, that's it. Dropped a can on the way. I'll pick that up in a sec. He's hiding in the trees down here. Let's leave that one, Arthur. That's for Daddy. I'll pick that up, mate. Another piece of trash there. Also, I don't know why, but he does this thing where he waits at the door like this. You open the door for him to come in, and he runs away. So now I'll take a step back, we'll close it, and he comes back to the door. You coming in, little fella? He heard something. He heard another dog. He just heard another dog out of the front window, and he's run to go check on that. What is it, fella? Where's he gone? No, I take that back. He just ran past me and left again. Now, all of this footage that you're seeing of Arthur on his own or with me might give you the impression that he doesn't have any friends. And all I would say to that is, why would he need friends when he lives with the actual Laurence Brown?
It's amazing what little habits they pick up. Still with the face on the grate. Just take another photo. I have a feeling my phone's going to be full of photos of Gregory. One little habit that he's picked up is, I think on the first day, he has a nylabone, and he loves it now, but sometimes he gets freaked out by it, and he reacts to it like it's a snake or something, because I think on the first day, I grabbed it, I gave it to him, and he chewed on it for a little bit, and then one time we were playing, and I made the nylabone dance like it was moving by itself, and that freaked him out. He started barking at it, he backed up, was terrified of this nylabone. And now every once in a while, he'll get that way again, and then he'll attack it, and he'll start chewing it. Still with the face on the grate. Another photo. Okay, moving on.
Like that, he somehow does have other friends. These are other dogs that occasionally visit him. It might be dogs of friends or family. And I don't know if this is going to be something that he does for the rest of his life, but he is always the instigator of fun. The other dogs, some of them, much older than Arthur, don't want anything to do with it. They're like, bugger off, you annoying little dog. And those aren't my words. They are my words. In part,
my boy does the same thing, actually. There's a lot of dogs in Los Angeles. In my building, I think, let me see if I can count. There's 8 dogs that I can think of that he's met already. Some of them, 9. There's a couple that he hates and he backs up from. He does not want to be around. And then there's some that he absolutely loves and he just wants to be all over them. Some of them love him back. Some of them are like, dude, chill out. Get away. Funny how that works.
2, I showed you his frisbee and how much he'd taken to that after about a year of being on Earth. This is the frisbee today. He's grown out of it. But other dogs obviously help him to socialise, to bark at the postman.
Right.
And to exercise, hence why he's now asleep on the sofa. And this is why we're giving deep consideration to having another one. I'd love a much smaller one so that A, they're more manageable on a walk, B, they don't take up as much room in the bed, and 3, I can just pick them up like that.
Yes.
Even as I sit here editing.
Yo, I love being able to pick my boy up. I think he's 8 pounds. Super easy. One hand, scoop him up. Control. Still with the face on the grate. Take another photo.
In this very video for your viewing pleasure, I've literally now just discovered something about my dog that I didn't know before. I'm currently editing this bit. This bit features one of his many dog friends. That dog friend is wearing a dog tag that makes a very metallic sound when it shakes. Well, while I was playing the clip, Arthur, in real life, thought that dog was here. You know what though? He might be playful with me, with all these other dogs, and with my sock drawer. But one thing he surprisingly doesn't give two hoots about are birds. It used to be when we go on a walk, he would try to pull very fast at three things: squirrels, bunnies, and birds. Leave the bird alone.
There are enough bunnies running around your neighborhood? There are no bunnies in my neighborhood because they all get eaten by coyotes. Arthur probably learned he can't catch a bird or a squirrel, so he just gave up.
Fast at three things: squirrels, bunnies, and birds. Leave the bird alone. What's it done to you? Come on. You can almost bank on it. But nowadays, if it has wings, he doesn't care. I think he's figured out that, they're magic. They can actually float. Not going to bother with them, which is great.
Magic is real.
Great for me because we've not had any of those surprises that dogs are supposed to bring their owners. He hasn't really brought us anything bad except for a lump of shit. But there's one friend in his life that still remains somewhat elusive, and that is the cat. It's always the cat. Arthur, from day one, really, has tried. He's tried very hard to cultivate a lasting, meaningful friendship with this grumpy old man. And the situation is better. You know, I think when you were first introduced to Arthur, Kafka was hissing at him, running away from him, batting him. I think the more that Arthur's matured, the more he's gotten the message. So Kafka's not interested. I don't know why it took him so long, but it did. So
Good
he
boy,
doesn't
Arthur.
chase him around the living room as much these days. And you might be watching this and thinking, Laurence, you've told us how the dog has changed. This is a lot of responsibility. Yeah, I know, I can take it. How have you changed? That's
Hang on. There's a cat that lives across the hall from me. It's an outdoor cat. It's vicious. It's a predator. It leaves mice on our front step. Gregory is infatuated with this cat. But of course the cat is not having it. He gets so excited when he sees this cat. But I keep him pulled away because I know that cat ain't having it, you know? He's hissed at him a few times, so, you know.
still you asking me, not me asking you. And I've changed irreparably. Come on. I think I've become a more... And how have you changed? That's still you asking me, not me asking you. And I've changed irreparably. Come on. I think I've become a more responsible person. I have to put their needs before my own. I'm the only one running. Do you know how hard that is when you have an ego like mine? It's not just, ooh, because I love him. It's also because I'm aware of the fact that I, as a human being, could live until 100. He might, if he's lucky, have a fifth of that time. And so, of course, you know, it would be ridiculously selfish of me if I didn't try to prioritize his time over mine. So no more wild parties till 3 a.m. Now, it's until 2 a.m. Anyway, I hope that my dog brings you as much joy as he brings me. Something that's only not apparent on my face because I'm British. We'll return soon with a more regular Lost in the Pond type video. But in the meantime, why not go back all the way to part 1 and binge watch the first 3 videos in this series, including this one again, so that I can profit from my dog. Until the next time, goodbye.
Yo, I saw another Lost in the Pond video specifically about Kafka the cat, and he has since passed away. So Arthur has the house to himself. There was a sigh. Another photo, perhaps, from a slightly different angle. Let's watch the puppy video too, y'all. Let's keep it going.
Well, as you can see, the rumours are true. This week, my wife and I inherited 77 new chores in the form of this little animal. Say hello
No
to
kidding.
Arthur. And you're probably thinking, Laurence, we have so many questions, and I'm going to try and answer them all here with a little help from my friend. He probably won't do anything. But before we get into dogs, if you're new to this channel and haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, do that now. This is the first time that I've ever adopted...
Yo, be sure to go to Lost in the Pond, like and subscribe. And if you... Oh, he opened one eye. Because it's on the grate. Did that come through? Okay.
...adopted a dog I grew up with a dog in England, but we got that before I was born, so I had no part in that process. This was an interesting thing. We turned up to an animal shelter here in the Chicagoland area, and I was taken by all of them. I mean, every dog that I went to, I said, yep, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one. And I just felt bad for leaving all of them behind. In other words, I wanted to take them all home and house them here in this house, but my wife nixed the idea, so we ended up with Arthur instead. And what were some of the reasons that we went with Arthur? I have a couple. Firstly, he's a black dog.
Good doggy.
One of the things that I noticed as we were walking around the animal shelter is that about 50% of the dogs in there were black. And I asked a member...
I've heard that people subconsciously don't like to adopt black dogs. My last dog was black, so I felt like, let's go tan this time. Actually, I didn't really consider the coat. It was just him, his little face. And when I met him, he was super sweet, funny, playful, not aggressive. That's why.
Member of staff, I said, why are most of the dogs in here black? And they said, well, because humans tend not to choose the black dogs. And I was, why not? Some suggest that this is to do with the superstition angle, you know, that people are superstitious of black cats and that extends to dogs. The other is when you go to those cages and there's a black dog and then a not black dog, the not black dog tends to stand out from the darkness, so they just get chosen more readily. So we made this decision based on that knowledge to sort of gravitate toward black dogs instead, because a lot of them just don't get adopted. So once we made that decision, it was a case of a couple of things. Firstly, there's absolutely loads of black dogs here. How do we choose which one is the best for our home? So we got to meet with a few of them, and the thing that really stood out to me about Arthur is that when they rang the dinner bell, or the equivalent thereof, at the shelter, all of the dogs were barking like madmen, and he wasn't. He just sort of stood there and looked out and went, what is all this malarkey about, you know, but in dog language.
Yes, oh, we see you. We see you. Sorry, everyone, for the voice.
That's kind of how I was at school, when all of the other kids were vying for attention by being as loud as they possibly could. I was there observing everybody, you know, not in a weird way, just in a way that said, I'm not sure I belong here. I want to go to a happier place where I can work by myself. And that seemed to be the feeling that he was giving off. So we had a little meeting with him in a side room, and one of the first things he did was pee all over the floor.
Nice.
So that should have been a bad sign, that we shouldn't be adopting this one. But for some reason, it was a good sign. It said to me, all right, if you're okay peeing in front of me now, that's good. We can bond over this and train you out of it. And the second thing he did was he walked in between my legs and then in between Tara's legs, my wife, and just kept doing that. It's like his thing. And since we got him home, that's what he does. He just runs between our legs. And it is one of the most adorable things on the planet. Okay. Since we got him home, he has peed on the floor a couple of times, especially last night. So we tried to take him outside and enforce sort of positive behavior. He didn't really pee much last night outside. We took him for walks. But what we've learned to do today is that once he has peed, is to give it a few hours. They say that with a puppy of his age, which is about 4 months old, is to just leave it a few hours and then maybe try again. And so after he peed in his cage, we took him out initially just for a walk this morning. That's what we're going to do every morning. He didn't pee. He didn't go to the toilet outside. So we brought him back and played with him. Then he went back into his cage for a little bit because he's being crate trained as we speak. Then at about 10 o'clock, we said, well, let's take him out into the yard and we'll decide on a place that we'll go to every day at that time.
You've gone to the grass. Oh, goodness.
That happens a lot.
We get the leash the wrong way, don't we? It's okay, though.
Laurence, he's out of breath. Wow. Oh. He woke up. Hey, Gregory. All right, I'm going to take a photo. He just woke up a little bit, but he's still chilling. It's still great time. Okay, go back to sleep. So the first day I had him was Thursday. Today is Sunday. That first day, got home. We went right out. We were outside. He pottied first thing. And we came inside, let him inspect one room of the apartment. he did a little tinkle. I scooped him up, went right outside and put him on the grass. And he tinkled. And then we came back inside. He walked around a little bit. Another tinkle. I scooped him up and went outside. That happened about 4 times. Since then, no tinkles, fingers crossed. Also, he has yet to poop inside. He's only pooping outside. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Please keep it up. I appreciate that. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You know what, though? I know it's coming. It's going to happen one day. When you least expect it, it happens.
Good doggy. You're a good doggy. You're a good doggy. Didn't you go pee? You just went and did a big steamy piss.
And I've never applauded somebody so much for urinating in public. It felt weird, but it felt right. I even gave him a treat. Uh-oh, he's discovered the toilet roll. One of the other questions that you are asking at this moment in time is, Laurence, what breed is he? And the answer to that question is somewhat unclear because it was from a shelter. They're not always entirely certain of the breed. But the notice that came with him says that he is a Border Collie mix. And I do see certain elements in him that do suggest a Border Collie connect.
Border Collies are very smart. That makes sense. I don't know if I said it already, but Gregory is a Dachshund Chihuahua mix from Bakersfield, California.
Which could mean that he's easier to train and that we should get some sheep. That might not be in my future. I'll have to talk to the wife and probably the city of Chicago and my conscience.
You're so cute. Should we show them how cute you are? You want to run around? We saw a bunny earlier, didn't we? And you were prepared to let that bunny live.
Only because you're fenced in.
Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Do we want to go this way? You want to go this way? You're such a good doggy. You're such a good doggy. Now I want to go this way. Doing it again, you're going to trip me up. You're going to trip me up. You want to say hello to all of your adoring fans? You do, don't you? You want to say hello to all your adoring fans. They love you.
And you may well be asking, how is he doing with the cat? And that's not the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, how is the cat doing with him? Because this one's really mellow. I think he's going to be okay around Kafka. But the truth is, in these early days, we have to separate them. So they haven't formally met yet. But our cat is keenly aware that something's going on, hence the fact that he's been sniffing around all of the areas where this one's been sitting.
We know what's coming. We've seen the other video. Kafka does not like Arthur.
So be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to get the video of when they first officially meet.
You want to lead the way? What's through here? What's through here? Oh, good doggy. Good doggy. Oh, look, it's your crate. You like going in there, don't you?
It's a
You
big
like
crate.
going in and out of it. And being in the kitchen, around us.
Around this big stack of food, even though you prefer wet. And my toast is ready. Is it okay if I get my toast? I'll take that as a yeah. What are you doing in there? And finally,
Interesting. I found something that's helped me with Gregory so far is a house line. It's a leash without a loop on the end. And he wears it all the time when he's in the house, not when he's in the crate. And whenever he's going somewhere he shouldn't be, or getting into something, instead of grabbing the dog and removing him, you just pull on the house line a little bit, like a leash. But that way he doesn't fear your hands coming towards him. You know? It's almost like magic. Anyway, that's a tip I got from McCann Dogs. Check out McCann Dogs if you have a dog.
why Arthur? You might be thinking, ooh, Laurence, it's after Arthur Dent in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or it's after the legend King Arthur. Given that I'm related to both, either would be a plausible answer. But the truth is, Arthur is my dad's middle name and my grandfather's first name. It runs in the family. So really, it's just a way of keeping the fine tradition of Arthur's going, though I can't guarantee this one will go into accountancy. That's it.
I chose the name Gregory because I actually don't have a reason. I just looked in his eyes and that's what he told me his name was. For real.
That's it for this episode. I'm Laurence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I don't have to. And if
Yo, be sure to go to Lost.
you like my videos about animals, then why not watch this one about mourning doves? A big thank you to all my patrons who've already met Arthur on my secret live streams. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/lostinthepond. Until the next video, goodbye.
You can also become a patron of this channel. Link in the description. Right, Gregory? Okay, one final photo of Greg. Kind of just looks like a lump of fur. Be sure to go to Lost in the Pond and like and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank you all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.